If your hair used to feel smooth and now it feels like straw, you're not imagining it. And nope, it is not just humidity or a bad hair day. Your hair has changed. And the truth is, after 40, it's totally normal. But there are some common mistakes you're likely making that are making it much, much worse. So today, I'm gonna show you exactly what's going on and what you need to stop doing if you wanna get that smoother, softer hair back. All right, so first, I wanna give you a quick overview of what's going on with your hair. So you're gonna think of your hair like a house. In your 20s and 30s, it's got a solid roof, fresh paint, good plumbing, everything's working. After 40, well, the roof starts to leak, the paint chips, and the damn fire alarm will not stop beeping until you take out the battery. I mean, not that I do that, because of course, I would always replace the battery like a good, responsible homeowner. Oh, and side note, this whole like, your hair is like a house analogy, I'm gonna be using that pretty much the entire video. So you're either gonna love me or hate me by the end of this one. Yeah. Okay, so here's what's actually happening with your hair, at least as I understand it. So keep in mind, I'm a 30-year professional hairstylist that's done a lot of looking into this, but I am not a trichologist. So if you do have even a deeper clinical insight into what's actually going on that you'd be willing to share, definitely do that in the comments. You would help not just me, but this entire community. But as I understand it, first of all, you've got estrogen and progesterone, okay? So you gotta think of these like they're your hair's general contractors. They keep things growing strong and steady. But around 40, they start slacking off like they're on their way to retirement. And that means that your hair growth starts to slow down and it gets finer. Then testosterone steps in like a sub who has absolutely no idea what they're doing. Never seen one of those before. And it causes your hair follicles to actually shrink. So the hair grows back thinner and many times wirier. Wirier. That's a tough one. Also, your scalp stops producing as much oil. So that shine that you used to have, gone. Now you've got dull, dry, frizz-prone hair unless you start moisturizing like it's your full-time job. And on top of all that, circulation slows down, so your follicles are running on fumes. It's kind of like expecting a plant to bloom when you're barely watering it. So no, this isn't just your hair being stubborn, it's literally changing. All right, so now let's talk about the mistakes that you're likely making that are making this whole texture change even more of a problem. Mistake number 1, using the same shampoo that you did in 1999. Okay, so that amazing shampoo that worked so great when you were 27, it is way too harsh now. Or it's at minimum just not working. That's like trying to clean antique wood floors with bleach, especially if you're using shampoo that's meant to clarify. Even clarifying shampoo nowadays is much better and much more gentle than it used to be, but they can still be way too much if you're using them too often. So if your shampoo leaves your hair feeling squeaky clean, you know that like when you rub it, that's just likely too stripping for your hair. And it's stripping out a lot of that oil and that moisture that your hair actually needs. So how do we fix it? Well, you use a shampoo that's made for aging or dry hair. Look for things like keratin or biotin or niacinamide. We're gonna go ahead and put that word right here because I don't think I'm pronouncing it right. I never said I could pronounce things well. Beside the point, again, and ditch the sulfates because they're likely not doing you any favors. Okay, now I know that your next question is gonna be, well, great, what shampoo do you recommend? Okay, so here's the deal. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here that if you're not in the hair industry, you're never gonna hear about. Many times when you go into a salon, the products that they're using aren't always because they're the best. It could be because that's what the salon sells and the stylists that work there are basically stuck selling those products. Or because the product line has a policy that you aren't allowed to carry other products in the salon if you're carrying that line. Also, most salons get their products from beauty supply companies. So these companies only carry certain lines. So effectively, the salons are picking from that company's catalog of products. Also, when you watch creators, if that creator isn't a licensed stylist, they're likely just telling you what products work with their hair, which is great, but that doesn't always mean that it's gonna work with your hair. So with that said, I spent some time putting in the work for you, figuring out what shampoos you should actually be considering. But first, you need to know these other common mistakes to really understand why these shampoos specifically are so important. Mistake number 2 is ignoring your scalp. Imagine the soil in your backyard is dry and cracked. Looks like someone's going for a whole natural look in the backyard because we both know that ain't nothing gonna grow right through that. Well, your scalp is a lot like that soil. If it's too dry, your hair is not gonna grow right either. So how do we fix it? Well, it's pretty simple actually. Massage your scalp and use a scalp massage brush. See, if you do that, you're gonna be waking things up. You're getting the blood flow going. You're stimulating the sebaceous glands to produce more of that super important and much needed oil. And you can always try explaining to your spouse that the only way you can fix your hair is to get a head massage. Call that a win-win. Because you know, happy wife, happy life. Isn't that what they say? At least that's what my wife constantly tells me. Just saying, never heard that before, ever. Oh, real quick. Also, I wanted to say, if you're liking this video or you're getting any value from it, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free and it actually does help the channel. And if you really like it, share it with your friend, like it, literally hit the like button, or comment, join the conversation. I always love to read the comments. I don't always get to answer all of them, respond to all of them, but I really truly do try to respond to as many as I can. So yeah, definitely comment. Okay, mistake number 3 is brushing your hair like you did in your 30s. Okay, you used to be able to throw that brush into your wet hair like a roofer slapping on roofing tiles. Seriously, how do they do that quick? Have you seen them? You know how many times I would nail my hand or my foot to the roof? With your hair now, getting out of the shower and brushing through your dry aging hair is like raking dead leaves with a pitchfork. Technically it works, but that grass is gonna suffer and it ain't gonna be pretty. So how do we fix it? When you're in the shower, just detangle with the conditioner while your hair is wet. Use a wide tooth comb, start at the bottom, moving up towards the scalp. Or you could also use a leave-in conditioner and then actually even use your fingers to kind of detangle your hair when it's damp when you get out of the shower. Either way, the point really being is that you're just trying to be as gentle as possible while you're combing through it, and you're using some sort of conditioner or a leave-in conditioner to help kind of smooth the hair out and make it a little bit slicker so those tangles come out a little bit easier. Okay, mistake number 4 is heat styling without protection. Look, this is a really big one. If you're blow drying or flat ironing your hair without heat protectant, it's like frying an egg in a pan with no oil. Your cuticle is cooking. And I couldn't come up with a house analogy there, so deal with it. You're in the house, you're cooking, good enough. And again, how do we fix it? Simple, use a heat protectant. Something with a little bit of silicone. That silicone is gonna create a barrier and help to keep that cuticle from splitting open and being too damaged. Side note, a lot of people, including myself, think silicones are all bad, or at least I used to. But after speaking with some chemists, I learned a lot about silicones, and I learned that different silicones actually flash off at different rates, which means that some will flash off or come off during the blow drying process, or some other ones just when the hair is shampooed. Not all of them actually build up on the hair like I used to think. Some do, don't get me wrong, but not all of them. So don't think of them as all being bad, because some of them can be a really big help to protect your hair. And don't worry, I'll go ahead and throw a link in the description as well as the pinned comment for one that I like, so you don't have to like search around the internet trying to find one. All right, and mistake number 5 is trying to fix it with a flat iron. A little bit of tough love here. Your hair texture has changed. Trying to beat it into submission with the flat iron every day, it's not working with your hair, that's fighting your hair. All right, so how do we fix it? Well, I'm the first person to say that many times heat, especially a flat iron, can absolutely make your hair look so much smoother and add shine. So if it works, why not do it? Well, you can, right? You just have to realize that you aren't doing it any favors. And if you're doing all of this other work to add back in the moisture, you're likely just working against yourself. So if your main goal is making your hair look right on the day-to-day, and you're not worried about the actual texture or health, then flat iron as often as you like. But also know that it might get worse, and over time, you may find yourself in a spot where ironing is actually no longer doing the trick. However, if your main goal is to regain your healthy hair, you can still use heat, just maybe use it a little bit more sparingly and pay very close attention to how you're using it. And definitely, again, use a heat protectant. Okay, so now that we know all the mistakes, we have a better understanding of the larger culprit that's creating this wiry, coarse hair, and that's moisture, or technically a lack thereof moisture. So earlier I said I did a little bit of work for you to help determine what shampoo you should be trying. Now, I didn't want to just give you my own recommendation, but since there are so many out there, and honestly, I am incapable of being able to try them all. Nobody can. Also, I wanted to give you options based on tens of thousands of different use cases, not just mine. So instead, I dug into what shampoo ingredients are best at adding moisture back into the hair and which ones that we should stay away from. Then I searched online to find the shampoos that contain the moisturizing ingredients and exclude the other one. From there, I pulled the most popular and highest rated ones and created a list for you. I've even broken that list into different sections. So right, there's the most popular based on reviews and searches. Then there's mid-range options that have a little bit less reviews, but they've got still a strong ingredient list. And also I added a shampoo that contains keratin that may, I say may as a caveat, don't want to say for sure this will help, but it could help, right? Add a little bit more hair strength. If you're unfamiliar, keratin is technically the main protein that makes up your hair shaft. And over time, coloring, heat, and age kind of just strip it away. So potentially shampoos with hydrolyzed keratin could potentially fill in the cracks in your hair's outer layer, the cuticle, reinforcing it so that it breaks less. Think of it like spackling a wall. You're not rebuilding the drywall, but you're reinforcing the surface. With that said, yes, your hair is absolutely changing, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's falling apart. It just means that you have to pay attention to how you're treating it and what you're doing. And if you pay attention to make sure that you're not making any of these mistakes, it's gonna go a long way to helping you get to a place where you love your hair again. And that is very much a real place. That can happen. I wanna know if your hair has changed, how has it changed? Let me know, comment below. And if you loved this or you liked this video, or you got some value from it, do me the huge favor, subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. And if you did like this video, you're going to love this one. So why don't you head over there and I'll see you over there. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next week. Bye. My wife always calls me the analogy man. I actually don't work that many into my videos, which is odd because when I'm talking on a day-to-day, I use analogies like it is my full-time job. And it's just kind of annoying. The whole thing. You're welcome for that. There's that. I'm leaving. Bye.